So getting fit and faster is like climbing stairs. You just have to do a little bit of training. Sorry, it's hard to concentrate. Do it. Getting fit and faster running or cycling, it's like climbing stairs. Each training session is like a step where you break yourself down a little bit and then you stop and consolidate on each level. And similarly, week on week is like taking another step and then another step, consolidating and moving forward. To do that effectively, it's best to use some sort of routine where you can make incremental changes. So I like to use a weekly routine, and also having a daily routine can be really effective, so that you can understand that if you're extra tired on a certain day, and then you feel really fresh on another day. If those days aren't the days that you plan to be fresh, or if you're not fresh on the day you want to do a harder workout, then it's not working properly for you. So what you need to do is to make some adjustments to your week so that you're recovered and fresh and ready to work out on your harder workout days, and that your recovery days are basically recovery days. So how do you do that? Well, have a look at your week and see what days are best for you to do your hardest workouts. Traditionally, people have done a hard session on the Tuesday and maybe another one on the Saturday, and I tend to plan something medium on a Thursday. So if you can handle 3 harder sessions a week, then you might do something hard on Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday, and if you can only do 2, then maybe Tuesday and Saturday. If you're training for longer events, then using the weekend to do some endurance work is good, which means that you probably want some sort of recovery time on Monday. If you've had a really big weekend, you might actually need another day to recover. So by doing that and planning your week with harder days and easier days, it means that you can start to understand how your week works and make small changes to make it more effective. Once you've got that structure, then you can start to build a routine around it and make smaller adjustments to make sure that each day works effectively. So basically building good habits, and having good habits makes a difference. It makes you more likely to do what you want to do, and good habits replace bad habits, so you have fewer bad habits, and that's really effective. So how do you create good habits? Well, spend a bit of time looking at your day. So you probably have certain fixed things you have to do in a day, and certain times of the day might be more flexible. For instance, most people have to go to work during weekdays, and you probably can't do much training during that time, but you might have a bit of space in your lunch hour that you can, if you have a lunch hour in your lunch break, that you can use, or you may not. You might be able to use your travelling to work effectively instead of driving to work or sitting on a train. You might be able to run or cycle part of the way and build some fitness that way, or you might be able to go to the gym in the morning on your way to work or on your way home from work. So being creative about your time and adding that sort of thing into your routine can actually be surprisingly effective and help you build extra volume into your training plan, or actually extra rest. You shouldn't undervalue the importance of getting a good amount of rest. So thinking about the flexible time, that can start when you get up, and maybe you can change the time you get up to give yourself a bit more time, or maybe you can do something more efficiently. For instance, when I used to live in Edinburgh and work in Fife, in Dunfermline, and I used to run part of the way at times, and I used to cycle part of the way other times I started off being a runner, and then I changed because I got injured and ended up cycling. So when I ran to work, I used to run to the station just a few minutes, and then I'd eat my breakfast on the train, and then I'd run to work from the train, and then in reverse in the evening, which gave me 2 sessions a day, and was fairly streamlined because I'd made my breakfast the night before, and therefore all I was doing was getting to work, and actually it was quicker than driving. And I'd done 40 minutes of exercise on my way to work and on the way back. And it was also a lot more relaxing than driving. Also think about where you can make changes in your fixed time. What can you do at work? It can be that you have to take occasional breaks, and you can do a bit of stretching during that time. Create a good habit of stretching your Achilles tendon or your hamstrings, or you may not want to do foam rolling in the office or at work. You might be a little bit embarrassed, but doing some using a massage ball can be very effective and also quite discreet. You can also spend time doing visualization. You can do a small amount of meditation or mindfulness breathing in your lunch hour. But like with training, going back to the steps analogy, just take one step at a time. Make small changes, and the small changes build to make big changes. And it's what you do every day that makes the difference to how fit you're going to be. Think about taking these small steps. Every step is quite easy. Make small changes to your day, and gradually you will make big changes as you look back on things. For example, think of one habit. Try to change one habit per week. Do one thing a little bit differently, a little bit better each week, and then once you've done 6 weeks, you'll have done 6 things, or once you've done 6 months, you'll have done 26 things better. You'll have 26 good habits, and that will undoubtedly lead to gains in fitness. Taking the right side steps is important, and also taking a break. If you think of several flights of steps, if you have like 2 weeks on and 1 week off, 2 weeks, you could do 2 weeks would be one flight of steps, and then you rest on the landing for a bit and get your breath back. And that period of getting your breath back is actually when your body builds up strength, ready for the next flight of steps. And using this process and taking your time is definitely the best way to get fit. If the steps are too steep, you'll get overtired and you won't make it up that flight. And if the steps are too shallow, then you just won't make the gains. So think about perfect training, which is a phrase that I first came across in the book by Charlie Spedding, a marathon runner. It's called From First to Last, and I really recommend it. It's probably the best book on sports psychology I've ever read. It's not specifically on sports psychology, it's a biography, an autobiography. But he's got an amazing way of turning things around and getting the best out of himself. I hope you like the step analogy, and hope you like this video. If you do, please subscribe, give us a like, thumbs up.